I think we are live. Lesson learned. Don't start screwing with the camera location right before you go live because I couldn't fix it again. Anyway, hopefully we've got audio and everything. So my usual pre-live stream warning, actually, I don't even think that's in focus. We're going to fix that. But my pre-live stream warning is we chat about all things, no politics. In these chats, you guys pretty much you ask questions, we chat about whatever you want. So if you are watching one of my live streams for the first time, you're like, oh my God, I am not interested in all of the talking. Check out my Patreon. If you just are looking for art lessons, I have a library that is 7 years in the making. So you get over 300 straight art lessons, art videos, no rambling about my frogs or my greyhounds, as you see on the hound cam there, or my reef tank, all the things that we randomly talk about. If you are, again, just looking for straight tutorials, that is what Patreon is for. For as little as $4 a month, you get access to a 7-year library. It took me 7 years to build it up to this point, and I have a new one every single week. There are over 300 videos available immediately when you sign up. A lot of other rewards. That is how I pay my bills, and you get the bonus of really low cost lessons because I've been doing it for so long. Anyway, so again, if you are watching this and you're just like, wow, there's this too much chatting, I just want to see painting, check out Patreon. I think you'll like my Patreon videos much, much more. You can also check out my website if you want to see a little bit more of what that is and get more information there, lachri.com. So for this one, we are going to be giving this away. This video is partially sponsored by Frederick's Canvases. They provided me with the canvas I'm using today, and the color is so much prettier in person. It's like this deep teal mixed with black, and you can kind of see, it is blotchy on purpose, and I love how the background came out, but webcams and easel lighting, they're unfortunate. So we just have to go with that. But that is what we're working on here. This is a Frederick's watercolor canvas board. So you can see that is just a board. You would frame this in an open frame. And I'm going to be giving this away to one of you who are here within the US because you can't ship outside of the US right now. Everything's a pain for shipping as it is. But you can sign up over on MeWe. Go to our art group. The link is in the video description. And you can enter for a chance. Did I put it in there? Can you guys, someone let me know if I put that in the video description. But if you go to our art group, I posted this post. This video is posted over there. It is the only place you can enter, not by sending me a personal message or commenting on Patreon, because we don't do giveaways on Patreon. That's against the rules. But MeWe, our art group, is the only place you can enter. That is listed, if I did my job right. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. In the video description. Let's see. Let me see if I can just fix really quick a little bit about the focus. That is weirdly, when I moved tried fixing the camera place, the focus got all crazy. Oh, wait, I had it. Go back. There we go. Much better. Okay, so we'll leave that. Exposure's a bit of, oh, that's too much. That's not fixing things. Auto exposure is annoying because every time I put my really pale hand, everything actually, if my pale hand is there, the color is a little bit more accurate there. So yeah, I haven't seen the sun in a very long time. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll leave that. That is probably good. I may have to adjust this a little bit as we get going. We'll see. Okay. Oh, crap. I don't have my reference photo. I might have to run on. No, can I bring this in here? Hold on. Okay. If nothing else, I can download it from Patreon if I need to. Let's give me 1 second. I knew I wasn't ready. Okay, it is there. Thank you, Joseph. Well, I'm getting my reference photo up. Make sure you can check out our moderators channels. The links are in the video description. All 4 of them have art channels here. Well, come on. Are you going to show? Please show. Please work. Otherwise, I have to go online and it's a whole thing. Oh, thank goodness. It worked today. It doesn't always work. So there we go. Got my reference. Okay. Paint. Let's get that ready. I don't have anything, I don't know why I'm so unprepared. Okay. Oh, my easel is dirty. Let's clean that while we chat. Do I have a razor blade over here? I have to grab a new one. Where did I put that? Man, let's see. I lost my glass scraper it's probably under here. Coming up soon, I will be cleaning oops, that's not ready. I will be cleaning my my studio is on the soon to clean list. So I've been going project by project. I did the garage this weekend and then painted my living room, or an accent wall in the living room. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, the office will happen. But in the meantime, I can't, or not the office, the studio, I can't find stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure it got knocked under the easel or something. So I'm using a razor blade by itself just to scrape the paint off. Yeah, this is some high-tech stuff we got going on here. It works. Let's just, there we go. Good enough. That is a mess. I just made a mess. Gypsy Heart said, "Sun, what's the sun? We're nocturnal artists variety." Yeah, that, and it's winterish. Well, I guess it's not technically winter yet, but close enough. Paul said, "Speaking of sun, why does Edward Cullen not catch fire in the sun?" Because he's a glitter pyre. Glitter pyres don't actually catch fire in the sun. It's the glitter feature, like, you know. The author, I'm laughing. I don't know if you guys have noticed. So speaking of Twilight, huge fan because I'm a dork and apparently I like really bad acting. I recognize that there's a lot of bad acting. But anyway, I have, Midnight Sun is the Edward's point of view book. That came out years ago. It got accidentally like leaked or released or whatever. The author got all upset about it. She's like, "Well, I'm not going to finish the book now because I'm too hurt that it got released." And we're like, "Okay, weird." Then I guess, you know, you just can only make assumptions. But I'm like, did you run out of money? Because then she finally released it. But it's weird because on Kindle, the Kindle version is $15 or $14.99. So is the the paperback. Weird, because usually Kindle books are like $5. You want 3 times. It is kind of crazy what she is looking for on that. And it's weird too, because it never goes on sale. I've watched it for like the last year. I'm like, that is weird. Then I found out recently she wrote another book. Maybe we talked about this already. I don't remember. But she wrote another book that was, what if Edward or Bella was a male and Edward was a female? So they just basically changed places. And I was reading the reviews, and it apparently is so badly done. Like, just really cheesy bad. Like, worse than the originals by a lot. So, kind of a weird... Where's the orange? I have orange over here. I had it recently. This is a pretty quick project, so me kind of taking a little bit longer right now isn't a huge deal. But seriously, where's my stuff? I thought it was more ready than this. I lost orange. Like, I know it's over here. I just saw it. This is why I need to organize this room. I cannot find, like, I just have stuff in not the right location. Let's see. Jackson, the weather, what's the weather in your state at Christmas? Is it snowing? No, it's rare that it snows here. Well, except for Snowpocalypse last year. But normally, and that wasn't even at Christmas, normally we might get, like when I first moved here in 2008, that first year we did have snow a couple of times, and then over the years it got less and less. And then now it's apparently getting a little bit more, but usually it doesn't stay around for very long. I guess I'm doing this. I guess I don't need orange. Whatever. Okay, fine. We'll do without orange if you want to be elusive and not come out when I need you. What else do I need? I'm probably going to use some, not that violet. Let's see. I've got some burnt sienna that I've put out. I've got titanium white. I would like unbleached titanium white if I can find it. Do you recommend us to read Midnight Sun? So I only read the first 4 chapters, and keep in mind I read this years ago, and I don't know. I have not read those books in so long. I don't know if my taste maybe has changed. Maybe I have better taste now. I don't know. But it was good. I didn't read it. I won't pay $15. I refuse. So I've not read the whole book. I read the first 4 chapters when it was leaked because I was super obsessed at the time. So I was going to read it leaked or not. But I liked that better than I liked Bella's side because I don't really like the character Bella that much. Edward's was much more interesting to me. So his point of view. So I really did like it. But I refuse to pay $15 for a Kindle book. I'm just not going to do it. So I don't care enough to do that. So I've not read the whole thing. Let's see. Art of Raven D said, I personally couldn't get into Twilight movie or book. So does anyone know if the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson even made it out? It's not out yet. It will be. That should be good because he's actually a really good actor, which people didn't realize because, you know, they see Twilight and they assume that. but because Kristen Stewart and whoever played Jacob are two of the worst actors in Hollywood. And so in comparison, it just made everyone look bad. There were actually some decent actors in that movie. Hold on, I have to find colors. I am missing stuff. Not what I was looking for, but some of these will help. I still need my unbleached titanium white, though. Where the heck? I know it's in here. Oh, wait, there's unbleached titanium white. Where's transparent mixing white is what I'm looking. There we go. We got them. I can actually do my job. Let's see. Jack said, we had snow where I am in the UK, but now it's back to rain. Oh, I want rain. I am a huge fan of rain. I don't like the cold at all. Let's see. Jack said, Taylor Lautner, whatever. I think that's the name for it. Yeah, I think so. No one remembers because it's impressive how bad of an actor. Although I should be careful. Apparently, if I insult actors, I disappoint people. Somebody was mad that I said Jim Carrey was crazy last week and commented on how something about they lost respect for me and how disappointing it was. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Is he your dad or like you worship it? I don't understand why you're upset that I don't like Jim Carrey. Kind of weird. So I should be careful who I talk to about because apparently people are very touchy. Paul said, just saw Spencer, the one where Kristen Stewart plays as Princess Diana, and the critics are locking her in for an Oscar nomination. Wow. It's the Oscars. Like, seriously, that's not necessarily something to be proud of. That's like being proud that you were Man of the Year. We've seen some of the people who have won that anyway. See, I'm going to make people mad again because I have opinions. Hobby Artist said, hi, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay. Focus, Lisa. I think I've got most of the paint out that I need. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is just getting a little bit of the glow around the candles. So where are my paintbrushes now? Those are where they belong. I actually did kind of clean these up earlier. So hopefully I can find most of the brushes that I want. Brent Desart said, wait, somebody thinks Jim Carrey is normal? Yeah, and apparently is disappointed in me for not. Weird. I am not sure. I don't understand. Okay, I'm going to get like a little bit of a warm glow here, mixing some transparent mixing white in with this to lighten it. Hopefully I'm grabbing the actual right one and... Have I seen Jim Carrey as the Grinch? I've not. I've seen him in stuff that I enjoyed. It's him as a person. Like this is why I don't like to watch interviews or stuff. The more you learn around someone, like there's two artists recently who I was really liked, and then you find out their personal life, and you're like, wow, they were not good people. I would rather not know that. So I don't know. I'm gonna just do a little bit of a glow around here, and I will slowly build that up. I would rather be too light and have to darken it than to go too dark. And I'm going to take a second brush that has a little bit of water and smudge that around. If you've got an airbrush, you can just airbrush this part, and it's so much easier. But I figured a lot of you don't, so let's show you how to do it without. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Like the more I was talking about that, like Tom Cruise was a good example that I brought up last week. Like, I know he's a good actor, but once you see him jumping around on a couch and just being like really, like I can't unsee that. I can't unknow some stuff. So I almost would rather not know much about like actors especially. There's never been a time where I found out something about an actor where I was like, oh, well, no, I take that back. Keanu Reeves and his thing with puppies, and like Keanu Reeves, the more, he doesn't really out himself like that much about himself. Maybe that's why, but what little I know of Keanu Reeves, I'm like, I like him even more. So that's like one exception. But most people, I'm like, please just stop. Like, I used to love Ellen, and then you find out how like, she's supposedly pretty horrible to people, and I'm like, man, really? Whatever. Let's see. Hi, Shelly. Paul said, agree. People who weirdly worship personalities need to touch the grass outside. That's a good way to put it. Let's see. Where are we? Art of Raven D said, every time I think of Jim Carrey, I think of Vero de Milo. See, this is going to show how old I am. I think of Dumb and Dumber, and I think he was excellent in that. And when I was a kid or a teenager, I thought it was great. I loved that movie. That, and what was it, Ace Ventura, and those cheesy ones when you're young, you really, you like those things. Well, I did when I was young. I wouldn't enjoy it, I don't think now. There would need to be like more alcohol than I would be comfortable drinking would have to be involved, I think, for me to really appreciate them. But when I was younger, I did. So there were things he was in that I thought, like the overacting type thing, he was really good at. I don't think I've seen him in much where he was a serious actor. And I know from what I understand, he's supposed to be a good actor too. I just don't watch stuff he's in. Brent Desert said, even Jim Carrey knows Jim Carrey isn't normal. Gypsy Heart said, have you noticed the announcement for Patreon being able to upload directly to the platform and not have an unlisted video on YouTube in the upcoming update? I don't know any details about that, and I'm a Patreon ambassador. I know I got the message, and I just haven't read it yet. That would be awesome, but I'm curious what they're going with, because they've worked with, Vimeo before, and we all know how that ended. Like Vimeo and me, they're horrible people. Carol said, how do you keep your palette wet and what to use? It's glass. So I don't really keep it wet, but sort of. So I keep a paper towel, a damp paper towel in there. So when I put it, it's a glass palette, and I've got it linked in the video description if I did my job right. If not, it's over on my website under supplies. But it has like a Tupperware type lid. And so that will keep most of it wet. Anywhere where I have mixed color, like where it's flat, that'll dry, even with the paper towel. But my clumps of paint, a lot of these clumps have been in here for the last 3 weeks, and they're still wet. So, but while the lid is off, it is going to start to dry as it sets out. But it's not super dry in here. Here's a part too. The paint that you're using will make a difference. I'm using Liquitex Basics. I have found that Liquitex Basics will stay wet way longer than anything else, more than Liquitex Heavy Body, Liquitex Soft Body, like everything else I've used, they dry super fast. Liquitex Basics, they don't, so that's part. Jack said, are there any actors or people you like, but then you got turned off? Yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise is a great example, and I know he's a good actor, and here's the thing. In order to be an actor, I feel like you aren't likely to be the most mentally stable person. Like, the better the actor is, the more, because they have to lie for a living. They have to sell the lie for a living, and I feel like there's like something about that personality type that can do that isn't necessarily going to also make them at the same time the most like moral, good person. I don't know. That's a theory of mine. It just, you look at the lives of these people and you're like, you guys have some issues. But the better actors tend to. I mean, you look at the best of the best and you look at their personal lives, or like they were in the news for this, they were in the news for telling off this person, they were in the news for this outburst. And it's like, I kind of understand, because it seems like, who is it? One of the best actors. Why can't I think of his name right now? Oh my gosh, I can't even think of movie. He was Batman in one of them. Christian Bale? No, no, is that right? Anyway, super intense, and from what people have said about him, he's super intense not on camera too, and it's kind of hard to work with. And I'm like, that makes sense to me, because to be as good, is this dry yet? I need that to be really dry. Actually, while that's dry, I can go ahead and paint the inside white. But it seems, I suspect that has something to do with it. It's always been a theory of mine that the better actors, in order to get into that headspace, require, like, I don't know, just a different mental state than the average person. We enjoy it. We enjoy watching their performances, but I don't know that I'd want to like hang out. Let's see. Whoops, come back, hobby artist. just had that. What size is your canvas and what size brush did you use for the background? That is an 8x10 and I used, where's the brush I used? I don't know where it went. Probably like a number 10. Filbert, something like that. Let's see. Queen Bee said, I'm the one who always shares out your content. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Paul said, what's the difference between gallery wrapped and museum wrapped? You know, I don't know. Is it not the same thing? I honestly am not sure. Gallery wrapped, museum, like you typically use the term, or when I've heard that used, it was both of them were describing the edges of the canvas were like the canvas wrapped around it. So you would paint that just as it is. Is that, somebody should look that up and find out for us. I'm not sure if it makes a difference. I've never heard the term museum wrapped, actually. I always hear the term gallery wrapped, so maybe different brands use different terms. Right now, this is going to have to be way brighter, but we're going to start with that. And actually, I need to make the bottom a bit more translucent. I need to lift some of this color right at the base. So while this is still wet, I'm going to shove that up because I'm going to, there we go. We'll get some of that blue in there, but we want that background to show through. Okay. Brent Desart said, my favorite Jim Carrey movie is the number 23. I don't think I saw that. Dee Dee said, I love your opinions. You're hilarious. I don't like Jim Carrey either. I found the one person who did and not only loved him, but so much so that he was, how did he word it? Was disappointed in me. And I don't know, he couldn't watch me anymore or something. I don't know what it was. Like, it really bothered him. It was interesting. I mean, all right. All right. Where are we? Vicky said, I missed the live and I watched the thought process of this painting. I love how you use Photoshop with the selected images. What Photoshop do you use and where can I go to learn? So this is actually not the one we designed. This is a different one. That's starting Friday. This, it's actually the same moth and a candle though. So it's partially the same. But the Photoshop that I use, it's whatever the newest version is, because Photoshop isn't one that you just go buy it now. I don't even know if you can still buy it at all, besides getting the subscription. So that is, I want to say it's like $10 a month, $20 a month. Can someone let me know? I don't know. I pay more because I have to use I have the full suite because I use the video editor as well. But as far as to learn how to use it, YouTube is a great place. There are so many tutorials. I'm not one of them. That's a whole other skill set. But there are lots of tutorials here on YouTube that will teach you how to use them. You just look them up. Tons of them available. Let's see. Cat's Heart Pig said, that was a really good picture of Captain Cookie that you posted on MeWe. So cute. Thank you. Did you see the one of Glitch from last night? It was even better. I got the best Glitch. Actually, she's here in my community tab or whatever. I used that photo today. It was one of the better photos I've gotten of her. It kind of the same pose as what Cookie was in. Paul said, agreed. Anthony Hopkins attempted on retiring from acting years ago because it's mentally taxing. And it makes sense. Like, this is my theory. Let me know what you guys think. If you notice, most actors don't have, like, their relation. I don't have the color I need out. Their relationships typically, like their romantic relationships, don't usually last very long term. A handful, but not many. And my theory on this, just a theory, but in order to act and be good at it, like, so most good actors and actresses, they'll be romantic interest in whatever movies they're making. I don't know how you pretend to be in love with someone and not. Like, if you're pretending good enough, wouldn't you kind of start developing those feelings? Like, in order to be a really good actor, you have to feel the thing that you're acting. And it seems like it would be really hard to be faithful to your significant other when you're regularly having to convince yourself to pretend convincingly that you're in love with and acting those things out with another actor. Like, that's my theory on why that doesn't typically last. I mean, there are a few people who have been married in Hollywood for a long time, but not many. It's always been my theory that there's no proof behind. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. But that was kind of my, like, why those relationships don't last. I like to think about random philosophical things and ponder different possibilities. This is what happens when you don't get out much. Let's see. just jumped. Hold on one second. Make sure too to do the @Lachri fine art. It'll highlight my name in orange. So if I'm not responding to you, it's just because I'm not seeing the comment. Linda said, I'm trying to paint fall aspen trees, but the Liquitex basics don't seem to give the coverage for the yellow leaves. What should I use? Mix white in with it, and then when it dries, I put the yellow on top of that. That's how I do with the Liquitex. Shelly said, just because the white is going to be more opaque, so that gives you more coverage. Okay. I should do this while it's still wet. Pay attention, Lisa. Shelly said, I wonder if actors lose their sense of who they are since their lives are consumed with playing someone else. Possibly. I mean, it just seems like it would be such a hard job. Like, and it's not even like I'm like, oh, you shouldn't do it then. Like, we all want to see them act. We want to see that. So I don't know. Like, it just looks hard. But it seems to be so common for, them to be somewhat disturbed. So that was my theory on why that happens. I mean, and you hear of actors that like really couldn't handle like the stress. Why can't I think of his name right now? Heath Ledger? Do I have that? I don't remember names. So that's not me trying to be disrespectful. I just don't remember names. But I mean, playing that role, his last role really messed him up from what he was saying. Like, that sucks. So I don't know. Shelly said, okay, got that. Leisha said, I'm happy you are painting the flame instead of airbrushing it. I'm learning so much from you. Yay! Yeah, I figured more people would, and I'll do other ones where I do a flame. I need to do some more candle tutorials, like just good basic tutorials. So I'll have to do some with the airbrush, some without. Get some variation in there. I've been trying to do a few more lessons that'll get beginners started and then jump into the advanced stuff. So one of the things that happens a lot with the lessons, people feel like, and I'm going to be doing a video that really covers this and goes more in depth with it, but so many people will, I need this to stay wet. I'm going to take a fine mist sprayer and just slightly go over that. But a lot of times they'll get started with beginner lessons and they copy along with the teacher and it comes out just like the teachers because it's so beginner, it's so basic that it's almost to the point where it's more of a craft than a fine art at that point, like that level of basic. And so they're like, okay, I'm doing good with this and this is the level I should be at. And when they try something more advanced, it doesn't look as good as the teachers because it is more advanced. And then they get like, oh, I'm bad, I should go back to beginner stuff. And the reality is, if you stick with beginner stuff, you're never going to progress past that. You've got to jump into the hard stuff. So like I want to do some beginner stuff to get people started, but then I want them jumping into the more advanced stuff. So my example for this has been, which it's on my website. So if you've been to my website recently, you've read this. But think of Mary Had a Little Lamb. When we're learning to play an instrument, we typically learn something super beginner, like Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which I'm pretty sure is the same song. We start with these really entry-level things right now. I'm just lightening up the top section of the candle here. But we start with these beginner songs, and that's great. And it sounds good right away. Right away, we sound just as good as the teacher. So what happens if we eventually want to learn to play Vivaldi or Bach or any other amazing, like advanced stuff? You're going to sound like crap for a while. You're going to hit a whole lot of wrong notes. You're going to play slowly. It's going to be awkward, but that's how you get to the point of playing Vivaldi, of playing Bach. You don't get there just by playing Mary Had a Little Lamb over and over and over again. And that's kind of the same thing with art. It's not, when you start the advanced stuff, it's not going to look as good. That doesn't mean you're not on the right path. You have to take that leap from, look, my work's as good as the teacher when I did the beginner stuff, into it's not as good when I do the advanced stuff, but that's how you become more advanced. So I'm trying to do a few more beginner stuff just to get people's, get your toes in the water, feet in the water, something goes in the water, and then jump into the hard stuff. Then jump into the stuff that feels too hard, but that's also the stuff that's going to get you a lot farther. So I'm looking at different tutorials to get people started. The more Mary Had Little Lambs type stuff. But then I quickly want to get you guys into Vivaldi. Like, try the hard stuff, even if it feels too hard and you're like, I'm not doing a good job at this. That's how you learn, is by not doing it like that. Not looking good that's a part of the process. Let's see. Gallery wrap extends and folds your artwork all the way around the sides to completely cover the wood frame. Museum wrap also covers the wood frame, but instead of extending your artwork, you choose between white or black wrapping color. Oh, so that's more of how it's printed, it sounds like. That's not really like your painting or the canvas itself, but how it's printed, like print. Am I understanding that right? Let's see. $10 a month for Photoshop and Lightroom with Creative Cloud. Okay, that's good. $10. That's more reasonable than 20. Let's see. Whoops. Elaine said, "You are so right." Oh, what were we talking? Oh, yeah, the trying hard stuff. I'm like, what were we talking about? I got distracted by gallery wrap. Paul said, "Just bought Crocs, Lisa. They're not really that bad." I don't know. Do you know Chris Dalton over on, she's in our, I think she's in our MeWe group. Her and I have this ongoing joke about Crocs. I send her pictures every time I see them. It's really funny. I'm not going to tell you because I'm sure somebody would be offended, even though I don't know why, but whatever. Because joking offends people. Let's see. We need to get into these darker colors now. So I'm moving into my raw sienna or burnt sienna. And that needs to fade nicer, but that is already dry, so I'm going to add some more unbleached titanium white. Shelly said, "I appreciate the beginner tutorials to learn the basic techniques and then jump in." Yes! And the beginner ones are fun. Like and even if you're more advanced, but you just want something that's a little bit more simple, something fun, just, something you're not having to work too hard on. There's nothing wrong with doing beginner stuff. The issue is when people stay with beginner stuff. And that's what I'm seeing happen a lot. We have a lot of beginner stuff on YouTube. And I've seen where the teacher's like, "Okay, this week's lesson is advanced." And I'm like, it's not advanced. It's just has a little bit more detail, but that doesn't make it advanced. Like that's not... No, you're holding people back. I want to get them into advanced stuff. I want you to progress. Paul said, "And the holes are heart-shaped." What are we talking about, Paul? Cat's Heart Pig said, "Just be yourself. No one can say you're doing it wrong." Leisha said, "I too appreciate the beginner tutorials and mediums I haven't worked in before." Yeah, thanks. See, you guys are encouraging me. I want to do more for sure and different. So this week's was the owl in Inktense. And that one is a really good one for beginners because, and this is what's funny. You look and you're like, it's too much detail. That seems like too much. But the thing is, having more detail means it's easier to make it look good. Because you don't have to have smooth blending. You've got all this tiny detail. If you take the time to, and even if your detail is wrong, like you missed some feathers or whatever, there's so much detail no one's going to notice, so it looks good. So yeah, I'm going through some different mediums to try to create a few beginner lessons there. Jack said, "I love your nail colors. Thank you." I think, did I already respond to that? I may have. I'll respond half the time in my head, and I don't remember if I said it out loud because I'm reading like ahead. Elaine said, "I like doing tutorials. They never look like the tutorial." Hey, that's good. It's fun when you're not sure how it's going to turn out, right? Jason said, "What is advancement in art?" I would consider it a combination of skill level and design. I don't think it's just one thing. So things that would make it advanced, like having, let's say your brush strokes are... I don't even want to say cleaner because cleaner isn't always the answer. Oh gosh, that's a hard one to put into words. Having more stylized for sure, I would say. And I don't mean stylized as in it can't be realistic. I mean something that is more consistency. That is what I'm going for. So consistency, but having control, I think that's a big one. Having control of blending, knowing how to do shadows correctly. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to paint black because there's a shadow. And I see that a lot on a lot of the beginner tutorial stuff out there. Just paint black. Sometimes black is the answer. Sometimes it's very much not. Most of the time it's not. We're just going to always outline stuff with black for that. The blending, the way that we blend, and acrylics is a good example. People get mad at me for this, but I am sorry. If you are dry brushing everything, that's a beginner technique. That is not something, you're not going to see a bunch of dry brushed work in a gallery, unless it's a gallery for beginners. I have seen that. But it's not, and it's fun, it looks cool, I'm not saying don't do it. It's a good technique to learn, but when you get to where people will depend on my whole clouds were dry brushed, this was dry brush. Dry brushing has its place in art, but when you're dry brushing everything, that's not gonna get you very far. It's obvious that you're a beginner. Even if you've been doing it for 20 years and you're dry brushing everything, everyone's like, That's a beginner. So dry brush, you know, the techniques, the way that you do the brush stroke. For example, most people, when they start painting, they do not load enough paint on their brush. They have a tendency to, well, dry brush or just a little bit, and they're too afraid to mess up. More paint on the brush normally looks better. You know, there's little things like that. And then of course we come into design and lighting. When you have a harsh edge versus a soft edge, where your composition makes a difference. How accurate your work is. So let's say, like with me, I do realism and surrealism. Does that look like a person, or is it like, I mean, I can tell it's humanoid, you know, this sort of thing where it's very, and it comes down to your liking. Your values are a big deal. So I'll see people like, oh, we're going to paint lips and they're red, but we need to have a shadow under the lips. Just take black. And I'm like, oh no, we don't typically use black paint on portraits. Like, oh, that's scary. Things like that, like understanding which colors not to use, when to use them, how to do your shadow. You know, there's a lot of different little elements, I think, that all come together. So yeah, those are just a few random things I can think of off the top of my head. Paul said, and really, here's the thing too. What are your goals? Because if your goals are to do the stuff that you see at like painting with a twist, or what I used to teach when I worked at Let's Art Party, they're no longer there, but it was like a more advanced version of painting with a twist. These beginner type things that somebody who's drinking heavily, because that's what a lot of people do at these, they're drinking wine while they paint, and in 2 hours they leave with a finished painting. That style of painting, very beginner, very basic, very fun. I'm not saying don't go take those classes. Those are fun. But they're also, you're not learning, you're not going to advance from doing that. But what are your goals? If you're having fun and you just get to where you're really fast and really comfortable with it, and that's what you enjoy, then I mean, I guess in that sense, that would be advancement. But I think it's important for people to ask themselves, what are my goals in becoming an artist? Where do I want, like, pick out artists that you look at and you're like, wow, I really want to reach that skill level. I like the creativity this artist has. I'd like to figure out how to come up with creative ideas of my own that people look at and go, wow, that's creative. You know, things like that. I would say that's a huge part of advancement in art too. So I talk about the technical side of things, but there's also the creative side of things, or the things that make the art you. But a lot of that comes down to, what are your personal goals? Some people, their personal goal is they just love doing pet portraits. That's all they want to do. So the creativity side wouldn't be as big of a factor in their idea of what is advancement, versus me, who I love surrealism. I like things that are weird. That's going to be a bit more important to my advancement. So I think it depends on the individual goals too. And I don't think there's a one right or wrong answer. Paul said, and could you debunk correct bad techniques using Liquitex Basic, like laying down white first so translucent colors would show up, like yellows or oranges? Oh my gosh, you are a freaking genius. And I have to write this down really quick, because so I am wanting to do more like what I did the video last week, why your colored pencils won't blend. It's very, very like, a lot of the times when a lot of us who've been working in colored pencil for a while, we're like, oh, everyone knows that, but they don't. And I want to help people so they do know that. So that is so good, Paul. Thank you. I'm going to write this down. Let's see. Liquitex. I'm going to actually take a photo of that comment too, because I'm like, maybe I'll just include your little comment over on the video itself. Like, here's a question from Paul. There we go. That would actually have been way easier in the first place. That's blurry, but whatever. We got it. That is a great idea. Okay, Jason said, oh, so you answer some of the questions that I asked. So you answer some of the questions that I ask are answered in your head. Oh, I cannot read that format of information. Can your husband translate for us? No, he cannot. He has no idea either. Let's see, scroll up. Paul said, I don't know if you knew Crayola, Crayola, not the Crayola, but he paints with acrylics and really advanced techniques. And oh boy, your techniques are clearly applied during his time lapse. Nice. No, I'm not sure who that is. Art of Raven D said, speaking of advanced courses, it's been a long time since seeing Kevin Kafor's work, but IG showed me an ad. He's now has online courses and his work are hyper realistic. Nice. Elaine said, don't worry about it. I don't worry about it anymore. I know something will come out of it and I learn. Good. Jack said, I know art could be anything you want, but are there any art people that you don't particularly get or like, oh, plenty. And I'm not going to call them out. Like there are plenty who I'm like, not for me. But here's the thing. Does it matter if it's not for me? Because if they're creating something and especially if it's selling, it's for somebody enjoys it. I'm good with that. Like I don't want there to only be stuff that I like. Like there should be stuff for everyone. And that's one of the things that's so cool with art. Just because I don't like something at all doesn't mean that it doesn't have its place. And there are plenty of people, like I can't tell you how many times people have told me that my work isn't real art and how much they dislike my work and different things. One person had a thing. He thought it wasn't real art because I used an airbrush. That's not fine art and how laughable. And I'm just like, okay, you've got issues. But I mean, not everything is going to be for everybody. And I think that's something, here's a lesson everyone needs to learn. Not everything is for you. So you have so many people who are like, I don't like that. I must boycott it. I don't like it. I must speak my mind. No, you don't need to. Not everything is for you. If you don't like it, move along. Like your life will be easier when you learn that lesson. So I think that you get that a lot, but I definitely, there's plenty of stuff I don't like, I don't get, I don't understand, but I also don't want them to stop because somebody is enjoying that, somebody likes it, and that's awesome. I like that there's variety. Let's see. Jason said, so on the project that we're doing on Friday, have you improved the composition? The only thing that I changed was so that the pearls go up to the seahorse's tail, so it looks like he's holding onto them. That's it. And then I've got to upload the photo for you guys tomorrow. Okay. Elaine said, I like our serialism. I wish my brain could work to do that. You know, it's practice for sure. When I first was like, I want to do surrealism. I don't know why I decided that's what I wanted to do because I didn't. Like, I was not good at it. That definitely took some time to really hash out. I kept doing these scenes inside of a scene, and the first one especially was really not very good. Not one of my pieces I'm most proud of. I did it for a friend. But the thing is, I needed to do that in order to come up with the ideas that I then improved from there. I started with that one, and then I looked at the things I didn't like about it and the things I did like about it. Kept the things I liked, incorporated the good stuff, removed the bad, changed some stuff around, and came up with something better. And then I repeated that process. And then I repeated it again. And I repeated it. So I kept adjusting the things I didn't like and adding in stuff I did like for future painting. So you've got to paint some ugly stuff to come up with a good idea, like especially when you're getting to stuff that's more creative and kind of weird. You have to paint some really questionable, like, what in the world are you doing? Like, you thought that was going to look good? You have to paint some of that to come up with the really good ideas. It's a part of the process. Brent does art. Oh, come back, Brent. Where are you? Says, I went to one of those drink while you paint things and the instructor got mad at me for showing everyone my techniques. Okay, so that's the thing with those. Those are really hit or miss because some of the instructors, I'm doing air quotes, so they're not actually art teachers usually. The one that I worked for, I was the only one who did not have a degree in art. They wanted everyone having a college art degree. The only reason that I got in, and which was funny because I ended up being their main teacher, was because I had had so many years of experience. And as they quickly found out, more years of experience made it easier to teach students than a college art degree. So anyway, the problem that a lot of these places have is the teachers they bring in don't themselves really know how to paint. And it makes it very hard for them to teach. And they are very, I don't know if it's that they're so self-conscious because they know they're not like super knowledgeable. And then it's hard to teach something when you don't know what you're doing. So that was a thing. But one of the problems we had with Let's Art Party was that a lot of the teachers in these other places were so bad that people assumed they didn't want to come to ours because they're like, we didn't have a good time when we went to Painting with a Twist. Why would we come to your location? And so trying to get people to understand it's a little bit different. Like our teachers are a bit more, well, they are actual artists. Like all of the teachers were actual artists. artist first in most cases, teacher second. So that was, I'm going to do a glaze of orange just to warm around here. But yeah, that was definitely a bit of a challenge. And some of the teachers you get at those classes can be great and you'll have a ton of fun. And sometimes you get a teacher who's wasted. That was a situation that some people who came to our thing, actually, so the owner of our place used to go around to the other painting places just to see what worked, what didn't work, get ideas on, you know, what was uncomfortable as a student. She wanted to see firsthand what people had fun with, what like teachers were doing that made it not fun, that so she could tell us, hey, don't do this, it sucked. So one of the things, one teacher, she had her kid running around all over the place. Her husband was there, so we don't know why he wasn't just watching the kid. And they were wasted. The teacher was wasted. The kid was running, the kid wasn't wasted. The kid was just zooming around all over, disturbing everybody. And like, it was the most weird, unpleasant, like, what is going on? So it's very hit or miss on those, what the teacher is going to be like. I've seen a few where people post like, oh, I'm going to be teaching one of these classes at this place. And I'm like, oh, that is going to be rough for everyone involved. I'm doing a little bit of unbleached titanium white and some transparent mixing white, just lightening up closest to the handle there. This is overexposing, well, it's wet. Once it dries, it won't be as bright. Let's see. Sheila said, your pups on the doggy cam look so comfortable and cozy and peaceful. Yeah, they're lazy boys. This is greyhound life. This is mostly what you see of greyhounds. Jason said, so where do we get your thought process translated? Your mom or sister? My mom. My sister, definitely not. My mom would be the one who can. My mom, actually, my husband can translate. Sort of. Let's see. If you find a style you like, how do you go about learning that style? One often way that you do it is by copying the artist. Now, yeah, we get into copyright. We learn by copying though. And so if the artist isn't giving you permission to copy, don't post the work online. Do it for your own practice at home. Sketch it, copy it, don't sell it, don't make prints, don't post it online. That is copyright violation. But you know, you're sitting at home, you're going to learn by copying artists that you appreciate. The thing is, understand copyright and that you don't have the right to like go crazy posting that online if they don't allow for it. So if the other option is to find somebody who's actually teaching that style, and usually they, like if you copy one of my lessons, please post it online, just let people know what lesson you copied. So that is your other option. But you're really going to learn by copying what another artist is doing. It's weird because we live in a time where everyone thinks that they have to post everything they do online. We don't. You could just draw it on your own. You don't post it online. You're not breaking anyone's copyright. And people will get mad like, well, we're just learning, so it should be okay. It might be okay. It might not. Just make it easier. While you're copying someone else's work, I just wouldn't post it online. I'm going to take a little bit of blue here. I'm going to have to add white. That's not going to show up enough. But yeah, that would be the main way I would say is by copying another artist who is doing that style. And again, when I say copy, I don't mean selling prints. I don't mean posting online. I don't mean anything like that. That's just part of how you're going to learn. Elaine said, well, even have the reflection behind the candle. Lovely. Do I? Oh, the glow. Yeah, God, sorry. My brain's not here. Where are we? That just jumped. Renee said, how do you feel about putting a date on artwork by signature? So that's a weird one. I had decided back in 2019, I had to give a gift to somebody in my family who I did not like. I avoid contact with this person as much as possible, but it's like, Christmas, they get us something, we're supposed to do the same for them, and I don't know why, because we don't like each other, but we're supposed to play nice, whatever. So I gave them a painting. It was one that I had done in one of the live streams, and it wasn't one of my better ones, because I don't want to give her anything good. I really dislike this person. So anyway, I realized, I'm like, crap, it has the date on it. The date's from like 6 years ago. She's probably going to think, oh, it's a leftover painting. You're just giving me your leftovers, which I was. But she didn't need to know that. She wouldn't have known it was from 6 years ago. And it got me thinking though, what if me doing that by having the date, how much does it cause like a psychological thing to people where their brain is like, oh, this painting's from 5 years ago. No one bought it yet. It must not be that good. Does that hold back our sales? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but it got me wondering. I'm like, do we really need to put a date on it? But then, and I was going to stop. Then the zombie virus hit. And I was like, this is an interesting period of time. I'm putting dates on this stuff for 2020 and 2021. So I have been doing it, but I don't know what the right answer is, honestly. Really not sure there. I'm going to just take straight titanium white. Let's see. Art of Raven D, have you heard of the artist who sold an invisible sculpture for thousands of dollars? No. That sounds like a pretty good money laundering thing there. I mean, that's what most big art is. I'm sorry, tax evasion. No, wait, you're not allowed to say that either. It's appropriate sales. Yeah, the art world is funny, the way taxes work and how people can move money around and get tax breaks while doing so. It's an interesting thing. Should look into it. It'll blow your mind. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, I am still determined after we move to travel around and do the gypsy paint parties. I think it's going to be fun. I think that's a great idea. Because people, especially now too, if you went and did home parties, like if you did a party in someone's home like that, where you could come to them and yeah, I think that would be pretty popular. I had people when I used to teach in-person classes ask me to come do kids' birthday parties and like teach everyone, like the Let's Art Party type thing. I think it would be very popular. Got suddenly really quiet because I started focusing. Let's see. Charlotte said, I used to teach crochet and one student told me her teacher at a different place used to hit her hands when she made a mistake. What? How long ago was that? I cannot imagine someone doing that. That is crazy. Paul said, a surreal illustrator shared a tip on coming up with surreal pieces, and it's taking certain English words or phrases literally. Say, mountain bike. Bike with mountain wheels can be done. Yeah, that would be a way to come up with interesting ideas. Leisha said, a writer friend told me that photos on Unsplash, Pixabay, and Pixels are mostly stolen from paid sites due to not having any checks and balances. Thoughts? This absolutely happens. Yes, it does happen. Absolutely. And they usually will take them down. I've seen stuff get taken down. And so one of the things that you can do is do a Google search, Google image search. And if that image comes up on a paid site, don't use it because you know it was stolen. But no, that absolutely does happen. I don't know why people do that either. Like, what's the point? You're not gaining anything by uploading to these. So I don't understand why people, I removed a dude from our MeWe group this last week. He was plagiarizing. He was going to, he posted, some of you may have seen the holly leaves, and he's like, I painted on a ceramic tile and blah, 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 using this technique and oils and acrylic glazing and blah, 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 and all the things he did. And I mean, he went into detail, all the stuff he did. I'm looking at that going, you threw a Photoshop filter over a photo. I know that Photoshop filter. I know exactly what you did. You didn't paint that. So then I started looking at his other posts in the group. And one of them, I was able to do a Google image search, and I found the original painting. So he took a painting off DeviantArt that was painted in 2014. He threw a Photoshop filter over it and then uploaded it to the group and said that he gave us all the details, the medium he used. He's been stealing photos, putting a Photoshop thing and posting them online. And I don't know why. I don't know what he thinks he's accomplishing by lying. And it's weird because it's like all kinds of different styles. And you're like, that's not usual. Usually artists are that all over the board on the styles. Like some of them were more Picasso, whatever style, I forget, my brain shut off. Why is somebody fixed Cubism? Some of them were more Cubism, some of them were more, and he's all over the board on that stuff. But you could see that these were Photoshop filters. But he was claiming, I used palette knife with oils, and I used this, and no, you didn't. You put a filter over another artist's work. You're stealing. I have a zero tolerance for that. Like, you're out of the group. We're not even going to have a discussion. There's no reason. You're a liar. You're out. But people do. I don't know what they get from. Like, why? I don't understand the why. There's no monetary, like, you're not making money doing it because you're not selling. I don't know why people do this. Yeah, creative financing, finance, Kathleen said. That is a good way to put it. Jason said, true, but the room is small and they need their space because they are big dogs. Oh, yeah, the boys. This room is not small. This is actually a really big room. It's technically the master bedroom in the house, and then I had the bay windows put in, so it's like even bigger. This is a large, they got plenty of space in here. Oops. Scroll up. Misspelled Jared said focus. Welcome, Misspelled Jared. He spells his name. Well, his mom spells his name. It's like, what is it? Jaryyd. It is the most bizarre. So I call him Misspelled Jared, and there we go. Also, I've learned my lesson. You should not pick on authors whose books you read because they have ways to get back at you. Jason said, okay, got that one. Susan said, good morning, y'all. It's almost 11 a.m., close to 100 degrees. Welcome to summer. Oh my gosh. I'm guessing you're in Australia. I'm a little jealous though, because it's very not warm here. Vicky said, no, I don't think the date matters. Art speaks to different people. The painting hasn't found that person yet. That's actually a really good way to put that. I like it. That's a really fancy way to word that too. Good job on the wording. Leisha said, dumb question, but what search term would you use to find a photo? And that's horrible to steal from someone. So I use Google Chrome, and I can just right click it and do Google image search, and it searches for that image. So I don't have to do a search term. It's just right click, image search. Attention from others, Jason said, yeah, I guess. It's a weird way to get attention. Oh, Kathleen, you remembered it. Oh, she goes, wow, and I gave him a compliment. Shakes my head. Yeah, I mean, why? Jarryd. Yeah, see, that's not how you spell Jared. I have got to stop picking on the author. He is going to get back at me. But anyway, yeah, it's a very, I don't get why people lie about the things that they lie about at all. What a weird, why not paint? If you want attention from people, why not paint? You could learn and then you get attention, the attention you're looking for. It's the weirdest, most bizarre. And that's not the first time this has happened. We have had other people. We had one woman who continuously, this was back when I used to use Facebook more, but she was doing, God, what was it that she was doing with that? She got called out for it and then tried to lie her way out of it, said she wasn't. It was bizarre. Elaine said, oh, not warm here, 23. Yesterday was 9. Oh, not fun. Leisha said, okay, oh, cool, thanks. Gypsy Heart Craft said, we should send you the Leisha chapter. Well, the one she entered the book for the first time. Oh my gosh. He misspelled Lisa. Because, yeah. Don't aggravate the author whose books you read is my lesson there. Well, funny story about that. So when I first met my husband, when we first started dating, I was making fun of his last name. And then I married him, and now it's my last name. You'd think I'd learn a lesson. Also, I was given my maiden name, I was in no place to be making fun of anyone's name, but still. Jason said, it's cold in Texas. Wow. So how is the weather in Minnesota? I don't know. I wouldn't live there. There's no way I could live where it was that cold. I would die. I'm such a baby. Art of Raven D said, I used to be very active on DeviantArt, and I've run into plenty of people who fix drawings, or fake drawings. Some didn't do a good job of making fake drawings either. So bizarre. I just don't get, I don't get liars. I don't get, it's one of those things that I have never understood. I just don't get it. I'm sometimes, I think, too honest for my own good, but I just do not understand, the lying thing. Nick said, Zanet Wiseman says, I signed up on Patreon, and is there somewhere that I can read and see how you go about tutorials, please? I'm not sure what you mean. You can go to Lachri.com. I have more information about the lessons, I guess. I mean, you just pick a video. So if you go to Lachri.com, there's a button, and it's kind of translucent. I haven't figured out how to fix that, but it has the Patreon video library, or just from the menu, go to the Patreon video library, and there's a selection of videos. You just choose one, and it'll take you back to Patreon to where that page is, and that page will have, if I had a reference photo available, I can't always provide it. It depends on where that photo came from. More recently, I've been very, making sure to link stuff for you guys, but some of the older ones don't have it. But if there was information like colors used, if I thought that was important, that's all there. And then of course the newer videos now have the downloadable images, and that would be there as well. So you just pick one that you're interested in and jump in. Renee said, I don't like dates on work because honestly, if I have art that's 10 years old, I feel it's time to update it. Joanna said, beginner tutorials highlighted in a playlist on Patreon, please. They're not, but I do have beginner written next to it. Here's the thing. Okay, so I am doing some that are specific beginner ones, and maybe there will be a way for me to organize that a bit better. And I will definitely start thinking about ways to have that like easy for you to find on my video library. I've got to work on how to make that happen. But most of them will say beginner on it. But here's the thing. If it's hard, do it anyway. You're going to learn from that. Like, even if you're like, oh my gosh, this is over my head, that's how you start. You will progress faster from jumping into things that seem way too hard than by doing the beginner stuff. So pick something that, and this is what I always did for students, pick something, not portraits. Take that back. Don't start with portraits, but pick something that you're just passionate about, that you look at and you're like, oh my gosh, I would be excited to paint a fish or excited to paint the roses, whatever you like. I've got stuff for everybody on there. But find something that you're interested in. That is normally when I worked with students, when I used to work with them in person, I had them choose something they were interested in, not something I thought was good for them. So there are stuff, and I usually will write like your first oil painting, your first acrylic painting, or that it's a beginner one, like the Sun Conure. But if you look at another one and you're like, yeah, but I really want to do that one, then jump in and do the hard one. Will it look just like mine? No, but that's how you get there. So, but I do really like the idea of doing like having a way so you could filter. I'm going to work on that for you guys. I don't know when it's going to be done, so it's not like a tomorrow type thing, but I would like a way that had the beginner stuff like separated so you could very easily find it, especially with me doing more of those. Let's see. Susan said, to be a good liar, you need a good memory and energy to keep track. Kind, frankly, my dear, I could not be that bothered. Quite frankly, my dear. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I have the worst memory, so maybe that's part. It's easy. I don't have to remember because I just tell the truth. So yeah, no, that's funny. And that's probably, yeah. My husband's cracking up in the other room. What is he laughing about? He's been on rewatching all the Seinfeld things. He is like, I'll watch, and he's like, oh, watch this part. And I'm like, it's not funny. I don't get that show. It's just not, I don't relate. Like, I don't know. I just do not see it. He loves it. So he's already watched almost all the seasons. He's just binged that lately. Let's see. Okay, we're caught up. Okay. I'm going to come back with some glazing on this, but I want to get the moth blocked in, and then, I don't know how, I may do part of the base. We'll see. Okay. Moth. I'm going to use some unbleached titanium white mixed with my raw sienna. And I don't care if I completely lose some of these lines, but if I can keep some of them, that'll make it easier. And I actually would like for some of my background to show through. It will pull this better into, like, make it feel like it all goes together and not like I photoshopped a bunch of stuff together. It's funny, I talk crap about dry brushing, but technically I'm dry brushing right now because this canvas is so smooth. It doesn't look like it's dry brushed. So yeah, I talk a lot of crap for something that I'm currently doing. I don't have to have a lot of paint on this brush. So this is a watercolor canvas board, and they're just super, super smooth. It makes it very, very easy for blending acrylics. So when you're choosing your canvas, if you're going with a canvas that's really rough, has a lot of texture, it's going to be a lot harder to get smooth blending. So the smoother, the better if you're using my techniques. No, he didn't, Jason, he didn't get another job. His job just keeps extending his position, and now they're like, they don't know if they're going to keep his position longer. We don't know what's going on, but he's still at the same place right now. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Artie Raven D said, I should sign up to your Patreon just for the permission to draw your animals from your social media. Yay, do it! Plus, at that tier, I think you also get postcards too. So, that's fun. Shayla said, I love that you put the sparkles in the flame. Did I put sparkles in the flame? It's not sparkles. Oh, I should have. It's not really sparkles. It's reflection from the lighting. I'm sorry to let you down. Okay, let's see. What do I need next? So he had the white. I'm going to just do unbleached titanium white for the edges. Oh, that is really bright. Let's rinse that and we will just smudge that out a bit more. There we go. If I put sparkles in the flame, I could call it Edward Cullen, huh? I shouldn't have that happen. Oops. Oh, Sushi's screaming his head off. I think he's decided what is it. Yep, it's time for Matt to get off work. Sushi's having his tantrum. Gypsy Heart said, oh wait, I'm on the teal tier. Is that what you meant by the photo on MeWe, or are the ones for the dogs and the frogs? Like, we can use them completely. I think it's the aqua tier and up. Did I do it aqua tier and up? I forget what tier now. I think it was aqua and up. Yet you can use any of my social media posts. So whether it be flowers, dogs, frogs, fish, whatever, you can use those in your artwork. You don't have to ask permission. If you're on that tier, you have permission to use them. Complete permission. I forget which tier it is because it's a newer one and I was like drained when I put them together and now I don't remember which tier it was. Someone can let me know. I thought it was aqua. I don't know. Jason said, you get postcards. Wow, I thought the cards are 6 months behind on delivering. No. So now I have been on time, although I still have, so they should always be 1 month is what it should be. It goes out the month after the sign up. So the month that you're charged for. But I was waiting forever for stamps. So they just came yesterday or the day before I got the stamp. So I have to get out October's, which should have been sent in November. So I am a little bit late on that, but normally I have been like, they're ready, they're sitting there. I just need to put the stamps on, and that's one of the things I'll be doing tomorrow. So we will get those out. And by we, I actually do mean me and my husband because he drives me to the post office. So it's not me just saying we when it's not, because anyway, Gypsy Heart knows what I'm talking about. But those I have been like, I am not getting, Linda helped me get caught up on those. Oh my gosh. That was so much work. But we got all caught up. And so I am not letting myself get behind on those again. Like that was just too much. And it got to the point where you get so behind that you're like, I don't even know where to start. And I was 2 months further behind. So I think I knew I was like 5 months behind and I was really 7 months behind. It was horrible. So I'm caught up. I am very serious about not letting that happen again. So, that will be, my microphone is moving for some reason. Oh, I hit the cord. Those will be going out soon. Although I think I'm going to wait on December. I'll get December's ready, but I don't think I'm going to ship them until after the holidays or after Christmas anyway, just because even right now, I'm afraid to ship these and have a bunch of them get lost. So, yep, I have been like, I am not wasting the gift Linda gave me and getting caught up on those. Let's see. It starts in aqua and up. Okay, thank you. Teal is the highest, yes. Sheila said, I meant sparkles on the wick. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. No, I just read it wrong. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired, but highly caffeinated. It's a very weird combination. I had a coffee right before I started. I normally can have 2 coffees a day. I had one this morning, one before I started, and I'm drinking my third. I'm going to regret this later. But I'm also super, super tired. That's why I had the extra one. It's a very weird, yes. Art of Raven D said, yeah, it's aqua tier. I'll be signing up for that tier when I get paid this Friday. Oh, yay! But no worries, I won't be begging for postcards. You'll get postcards anyway. Yay, thank you. Lorax said, I don't get why some personal accounts on Instagram compile paintings under their account. Yes, they tag the artist, but it adds tons of hashtags to others. So they build their account and then they can run ads. So if you have a certain amount of followers, there are people will sponsor, like, hey, put an ad for my stuff and I'll pay you. And that's what they're doing. So, or they can then turn around and sell the account because it has a certain amount of followers. They do it to get followers. So that is why the majority of them do it. Speaking of sponsored stuff, I have a sponsored one. I cannot wait to show you guys tomorrow. You guys, okay. I can't start telling you. I guess there's no like secret. So I am doing a thing, and this was kind of funny how it started. I started rebuilding my website or reworking it, and I wanted to have some photos like on the store where you could see the painting, what it would look like hung on a wall. And I photoshopped a few, and I do have, if you go to my website right now, lachri.com, you can see on the front page, there are two. They're not well done. It's a crappy Photoshop. And because they're small images, it's not terrible, but when you blow them up, they are bad. So I'm just like, oh, I would love to have, and it took me forever just to do that. And it looked bad. Like I really wanted one of those services that, you just upload the photo and it gives you different room options and all of that. And so I had been looking, and it's so funny because I knew that the company had contacted me before, but I kind of ignored it because I don't usually do sponsored stuff. Unless I would use it myself, I generally won't do anything sponsored. So I was working on that and I started looking, I'm like, is there a service that does that? Or is there something with Photoshop that makes that easier? Like there's gotta be a better way to do this than what I was doing. And I came across the website called Canvy.com. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Do I want to sign up for it? I'm like, wait, didn't they contact me? They contacted me the day before too. So they contacted me a couple of times over the last year. And because that's normal for a sponsorship, they'll contact you because it either goes to spam or in my case, I'm just too busy and I'm like, oh, I'll look at it later. So I contacted them back. They wanted to do a sponsorship thing. And I was like, yes, I actually think this is a cool thing. I want it for myself. Therefore, I want to share it with you guys too. Because I do, if I think it's good enough for me, I know you guys are going to want to know about it too. So I've been using it. They gave me a membership to their thing so I could try it and do the video for it. It's like, I just got goosebumps thinking about how much easier my life got. Oh, my life is boring that I just got goosebumps over a photo app. That's sad. Point is, it is awesome, and you guys are going to get a 2-month free subscription. They are giving me a code to give to you guys for 2 free months. It's a $30 value you're going to get, and that will be released tomorrow, so you get it. You can do it yourself. There are over 500 rooms, and then as I've been editing, more rooms are being added all the time. Like, it is so cool. It is so awesome. I went through, if you go to my shop, like under original paintings, you'll see a bunch of the samples of where I used their app, not my crappy one on the front page of my website. But on just lachri.com, front page of my website where I crappy photoshopped. Then you go over to under my shop for original art, and that has the ones I did with the Canvy service. It's cool too because you put in what your actual size of the painting is and it automatically scales it to that room. It's not like where you put in something little and it comes out really big. Like it is a cool app. I have been loving it. They have an option too, like for that membership, it has a website you can do. I have not played with that. I've just been playing with the app for the photos. It looks so good. Like I'm so excited about it. So anyway, that video is tomorrow. There may be an appearance of Bat Shark at the end. But yeah, the cool thing about that is you guys all get 2 free months, which is awesome. Where are we? But yeah, anyway, my point was, the thing that got me thinking about that is I will be posting some of those samples of my paintings on walls in these rooms. It looks so good. Those will be going on Instagram and stuff tomorrow too. Vicky said, the best lesson you have taught me is if you don't like the layer, don't stop. It means you're just not finished. You word it better. I have pulled old paintings I gave out and completed. That is awesome. Renee said, can you get a form to order postage right from the mailbox? Leave the mailman a note in the box. What? You can get a form to order postage. I just order on the website. It just took forever to get there. It took a weird amount of time for it to get to me. Jason said, so to do this well, you have to be tired and caffeinated. to go the way you do things. Not for painting. Painting is just yeah, that's just practice. I've just been doing that a long time. Dee Dee Fletcher said, my husband and I watch Big Bang Theory. They're such good actors. I haven't seen that show in forever. Lorax said, I would get it if it's under a gallery named account, but they're under personal account, like they posted non-related art there. Weird. It may be for attention, but they also, you get enough followers, you can start doing paid ads on your account. So that's probably why. I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense. It's weird, but some people claim that they're doing it to help the artist get known more and to be found and all that. I don't know if I believe any of that. Maybe it's true. I doubt it. Maybe some people just like to run a large account and thought that would be a way to do it. And this is what some of them will do too, though. They'll do that. They'll build their account so it's really big, and then they will contact smaller artists that don't have a big name for themselves yet and sell them. You can pay to have your art featured on their account. Super shady. And let me tell you, don't do it. You're not going to get known or found, or it's not going to make that big of a difference for you. Do not pay one of these accounts to feature your art. It's not, you get a few followers, not that many. Most people don't then go, oh, I'm going to go follow that person. That is fairly rare. The only time that happens is if your art, there's something super unique, super amazing about your art. If you're like, oh, I'm an average artist, I'm building up a following, my work's good, but it's not like something that everyone's jaw drops when they see it, don't bother. It's not. Those things are not, I don't want to say scams, except I want to say scams. I mean, it's not a scam. I guess they're being honest about it, but you're not going to build following because of being featured and being paid to be featured on one of theirs. So that's one of the other ways that these accounts do. Minal said, I will be picking up my ceramic work, including the seal and dolphin lid tomorrow. Can't wait to see it finished out of the kiln. I'll share it with you on MeWe. Yay! I want to see it too. Lay down, Gibson. Moth is looking awesome, very realistic. Thank you, Elaine. Lay down the not shoe. Those of you who follow me on MeWe understand that. That's been Nick Gibson's nickname lately, is the shoe, or the not shoe. I'll tell you the story, because it's absolutely ridiculous. I shouldn't tell people this story. So I'm sitting there one night. I'm in the office. I'd been working my butt off on that website. I was so tired. I'm sitting there, and out of the corner of my eye, I see his black head laying on the floor next to me. And I start getting all emotional. I'm exhausted at this point because I'm doing my normal work and trying to rebuild a website. My normal work is 2 jobs, essentially. Like, I work nonstop. So I'm doing that. And I start getting all emotional, like, oh my gosh, how did I get so lucky to have such a good dog? He's such a good dog. Look at him. He's laying next to me while I'm working, and he's such a good boy. And I look down. It was my black flip-flop. That was the dog I was apparently all emotional over. So he's become the shoe or the not shoe. I call him both. We never really had a good nickname for him. Like, Wade's the bad cow. That was a really easy nickname to come up with, but we never really came up. We called Gibson the house horse, but that doesn't roll off the tongue like bad cow does. Okay, let's give him some little legs. Actually, that'll be too dark. Not jump into black. I don't even care what color. As always, it is about the values. Are your darks dark enough? Your lights light enough? That is what I'm focused on now. I'm kind of excited. So it's a weird thing to be excited about. But I have ended up with, and I may not be excited about this long term. We'll see how this goes. But I ended up with thrips. I don't know how you say it. It is a parasite, like a not good bug in my big vivarium, which means it's probably on my, I know it. I think I brought it in when I brought the plants in for the winter. I think I brought something in from outside, and now I've got to treat all my plants. But the problem is with the vivarium plants, you can't just spray them with any sort of pesticide, even the natural stuff that I normally would use. You can't do that with the frogs. So I ordered some green lacewing eggs, and I put them in the vivarium. Some of them have hatched, and the larva is, or that stage right after they hatch is what eats the thrips. I don't know. I'm really stupidly excited if these green lacewings make it to adulthood and I have those in my vivarium because they're so fancy. If they do, I could take photos for us. We could use it in artwork. But yeah, I'm super like stupid excited about it. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to do the CO2 thing where I'd have to remove the frogs. I don't have 2 frogs in that tank, but I'd have to remove them, seal off the tank with like saran wrap, and then, or it's a different stuff that I would use. And then you use CO2. You just blast the tank with it for like 2 days and it kills all bugs in it. The plants love it. The plants will do better than ever and it kills all bugs. The problem with that is it also would kill my isopods. They're like roly-polies. They live in the, in springtail. Springtail's no big deal. I breed those on my own, but it would suck to have to start my culture over with the isopods. So it's not, I'm hoping not to have to go that route. If I can get this done just by the green lace wig, it would be cool. Plus then I get green lace wings. I've never tried it, so I'm not sure how effective it'll be, but it's like, you know, your natural way to combat that. Paul said, I share the same experience back when I was doing my undergrad thesis and I barely slept for 6 months and it effed up my sanity. I hallucinate and see ghosts. Oh my gosh, JK, but it exhausted. Yeah, it definitely, I had a couple of weeks there. So I hadn't had a day off since before Aquashella, which was Halloween weekend. I did have friends come over a couple weeks ago on a Sunday. So we took that off, but it was more like entertaining. I still didn't feel like it was a day off. I had fun. It was exhausting. I was more tired than I just didn't have a break. I felt like I'd been going nonstop for so many months. My dart frogs are talking, but I was so exhausted. And you hit that point, and then I was like, I'm seeing that my numbers on YouTube weren't doing well. I'm like, okay, I've got to make some changes, because you get to a point where you just get too complacent. Like, this is just how I make my videos all the time instead of working to improve them. And I'm looking at my numbers. Patreon was going down, and that's normal for this time of year, but I'm like, it's really going, like, I need to make some improvements. I need to go through. So I made the improvements to Patreon. Then I had to update my website with that. And then I'm like, well, I need to update my whole website. So I updated that. And then it was just like all of these things. And I did not have a day off my first day off was this last Monday since sometime in mid-October. So you hit that point where it's like, it's just too much. I was so exhausted. I just wanted to cry. I was so tired. And that was not good. Good news is I'm taking Sunday off this week. So I get a day off this week too. Well, maybe. It depends on if I get this week's Patreon video done in time. Like, if I can get it done in time, I'm taking Sunday off, and then I'm going to paint 2 more rooms in my diet. Like, painting walls. That's what I'm doing on my days off. But I'm like, it doesn't take thought. Like, you don't have to, it's just mindless. It's enjoyable. So yeah, that is my let's move you over. Oh, I don't want to move this. I don't want to mess it up even worse. So it's the bottom. There we go. But yeah, that's my poor me whiny story, just because I plan things out bad. And it wouldn't be bad if I spread it out over time, but I don't do that. I'm like, oh, I've decided I'm doing this thing, so it has to be done right now. Like, I can't wait. It has to happen now. So yeah. Sheila said, would the frogs eat them? Yeah, the frogs may eat them, which is fine. Extra snack for them. They won't be able to catch all of them, though. So we'll see how much they manage to survive from the eggs I bought. Art said, I paid $50 to be featured on an Instagram page. It was the worst decision. I wasted money, and the ones that follow me are bots. Yep. I get 12 messages a day to be featured for more money. That sounds about right. I report them. I would report that account. Here's the thing too. They don't Instagram, they are Facebook, same company. They don't like these companies making money unless they're paying for advertisements, and they're probably not, in which case, I don't know, I report them. If they're spamming you, report them for spam. If they are reaching out to you for unsolicited business things, that is spam, and Facebook I will give Facebook that. They don't like that. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, with how go, I'm trying to get started with all of it. I can't even imagine how busy you are doing. Way more every week. It's so much more than people think. Oh my gosh. It's nonstop. I mean, even like getting the coloring page done each week, that is taking a lot more time. And I wanted to do more YouTube shorts and TikTok videos, which I need to. It's just like, when am I going? Yeah, time has been an issue. I think it's going to calm down a little bit now that I've kind of sorted through. My website's pretty much done. I have a few supply list pages I need to add, but I want to wait till I do videos for them. So that's pretty much done. And actually, I should do this with black first. Yeah, I think it's going to get better now. As long as I can have one day off a week, that's fine. Just that day to look forward to where I can go do things like this week. My mother-in-law, she wants to come over for my husband's birthday. And she's like, what day is good for you guys? And I'm like, crap, there's no time. That doesn't fit into my time. Like, I don't know. So yeah, it kind of sucks. Like, it's a stupid amount of busy that I've been, but I'm working, and I've done this before where I'm working harder than usual because I want to really boost YouTube so that I can really boost Patreon and all of that and better pay bills. So, I mean, the cost of living is getting so expensive, like food, groceries, gas, electricity. The price of everything has shot up. Stamps, postage. It's like, you think, oh, it's only 10 cents more for a stamp. No, that's a big deal when you're getting 500. Like, there's so much stuff that has gone up. And so it definitely is a little bit concerning. So I'm working harder than I usually will, but it will get to where you kind of get into a groove with everything and it's more automated almost. So it won't be as bad as what it is right now. But redoing my website was certainly a big one. This is just, you can't really see, you can kind of see the black line. This will make more sense when I put the shine on it. Paul said, oh, and when some people want to lucid dream, I don't have the time for that because even in my dreams, I have to make decisions. I want my dreams to surprise me. Oh my gosh, dreaming. Dreaming is friggin' exhausting. What was the thing? I napped earlier and I was dreaming I was having to pack artwork. Like I'm having to work in my dreams. Or when you dream that you're cleaning the house and you wake up and you're like, I still have to clean the house. I hate that. Like, not a fan. And my dreams are super realistic, so it's like ridiculously so. So it feels like I cleaned the house already. And I'm like, really? I have to do it again? I already did this. And then, of course, the nonstop dreams where you can't find something you need. It's usually like I have dreams all the time where I'm getting ready for my live streams, but I can't get my makeup done in time for some reason, and I can't find the mascara, or I can't find something, I can't find the shirt I want to wear. And so the whole dream is me trying to find clothes. Like I can't find my pants, or just random, I can't find things, which is typical for me because I'm always losing everything. Yeah, those are I'm sure that means something. Someone will let me know. Unless it's super unflattering, don't let me know. But yeah, the nonstop dreams of I can't find stuff are pretty common. Jason said, looking to doing electronic postcards? I don't know what that means. What's an electronic post? People don't want that. People want to collect the real one. Paul said, that's me. Being exhausted can really change the way you react to situations. Like me, I would just get snicker at situations. Gypsy Heart said, would it be worth it to you to do the Vistaprint mailing service where they mail the postcards to you or they charge you a crazy amount for that many and overseas? My concern with that, and this has always been my problem, because Patreon has a service for this too. My problem, and it's not that big of a deal. Like it's a couple hours a month, or like 4 hours a month. So I'll do one on one Thursday, one on the other, and then I have to order them still. And so doing the labeling and the stamps is only half of it. I still have to lay down, bad cow. I still have to design them. I had to design the stickers. That's a new thing now. I've got to design the you guys are getting a Bat Shark sticker is coming up in the next couple of weeks or a couple of months for this, but I have to design this stuff. So it's more than just doing the labels. It's designing the postcard, coming up with a quote to put on the back, adjusting there's a lot in just ordering it. But then the stamps themselves, the other problem is, if one of you guys contacts me and you're like, I never got my postcard and I have to resend it, I don't have them to resend. So that's an issue too. Jason said they could print the card. Yeah, I think I would lose a bunch of people. I'm pretty sure I would lose a lot of patrons if I changed that. Let's see. Elaine said, I always lose things. If you say... I always lose. Where did you go? If you say so, I do. I lose everything I touch. Renee said, do you dream in color? Yes. I do realize it seems more real and it makes it crazy. And you know what's weird? I've heard people say that other people don't talk in your dreams. They talk in my dreams all the time. Does that mean I'm crazy? Like I've got multiple voices in my head? Because people talk in my dreams all the time. Let's see. RBMB said, I apologize if you answered this, but what are you using to hold? Where's the rest of that? I don't know what. the rest of that one is. Susan said, used to have a dream I got stuck in a car park and I couldn't find the exit. Visited Sydney a few years ago and the venture into a huge car park. Guess what? I couldn't find the damn exit. Oh no. Clark said, let's see. I have no idea how you get it done. I'm trying to find a rhythm and then add another ball to the juggling act. And then she talks about having time to nap. Well, I don't watch TV. I think that's part of it too. Like my schedule is I wake up, I do my office work. So video editing, like tomorrow morning, tomorrow will be an example. I'm going to wake up. I've got to edit tomorrow's video and I've got to record the screen part, the computer part, like showing you guys how this Canva works. And then I've got to edit it. I've got to get it uploaded, do the thumbnail, do all the promo stuff for it, like be able to share it on Instagram, share it on everywhere. And then I've got to stamp all of the postcards and greeting card things. I got to get that done tomorrow. And then I'll take a nap, assuming Sushi's not screaming his head off. And then when I get up, I have to paint. So, and I'll paint the rest of the night until about midnight. Then I get ready for bed and I do it all over the next day. Like it's always the two, like Friday is getting ready for the live stream for the first half of the day. I take a nap, then I get up and paint all night until I go to bed. And so it's like that all the time. Saturday is, what is Saturday? Saturday Saturday's clean the house. So the first half of the day is clean the house. Then I take a nap and then I work all night. So it's like I take a nap instead of where the average person I think sits down, watches TV and stuff. I don't do that at all. Paul said, I miss dreaming surreal stuff. Now it's become too realistic too. Leisha said, that's like my nightmare. End of shift. Next shift was once report. I'd be charted and no one, and I just discovered an extra patient that I didn't know I had. Yeah, the live stream one is all the time. Like I'm not prepared. I don't have my canvas. I don't have, like that one is all the time. Or one of the worst is that I'm supposed to be getting ready for the live stream. I know it starts soon, but I'm not quite ready, whether I'm still doing my makeup, which is weird because I do my makeup early in the morning. I don't do that right before the live stream. But I'm always like running late for some reason. Something has to be done before the live stream starts. And I'm rushing around trying to do that. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm only 10 minutes late. I'm only 30 minutes late. And it keeps getting later and later. And then I'm like, okay, it's 10 o'clock p.m. I can still start the live stream, right? Like I have that dream all the time. I don't know why. How did Wade get the nickname Bad Cow? Because that is a bad cow. He has eaten multiple shoes, paintbrush. I'm having an issue with him deciding he's going to pee in his crate at night since the time change. His brain says, this is the time of day you always let me out and I go potty. And now he's like, he doesn't care that the time changed. This is the time I get to go out, even though he went out later. Like it's only been 5 hours. There's no reason you can't hold it an extra hour. And he's just, he's a bad cow. He's a sweet bad cow, but that's a bad cow. And it's funny because when you tell him he's a bad cow, he gets all excited and wags his tail because it's like, you know, an endearing term for him. Yeah, I've gotten to where I can only put one blanket in his crate because I'm like, I'm not going to spend the entire day doing laundry because yet again, you decided 9 o'clock is, or what is it? It's 10 o'clock now, but you decided because the time change, it's really 9 o'clock or whatever. I've got that backwards. Yeah, bad cow. And I would I've thought about letting him sleep because Gibson sleeps with me in my room, but Gibson doesn't have a habit of potting when like in the house or doing any of that. And so Wade I don't trust, so that's why Wade is in his crate. But yeah, Wade is a bad cow. Okay, we have a winner. I'm not quite done with the painting, almost, but not quite done. We do have a winner. The winner for tonight's painting is Janet Hainstock from Straley, MI. Is that Missouri? Mississippi? I don't know my states. Wait, no, MO is Missouri. So what is MI? I don't know what state you're in. But Janet, congratulations. You get the candle moth. Now I need to finish it. Paul said, wait, what? My dream is like telenovela? All kinds of emotions are portrayed, so I don't relate to mute characters in dreams. Art of Raven D said, I've had dreams where I couldn't control my vehicle and end up running over a bunch of people by accident because my car wouldn't stop. That's a weird one. I have not had it where it was from people, but I've had where I was driving and it, like the brakes, I would be hitting the brakes and I'm still slowly rolling. Like I've slowed down, but I never completely come to that stop. That's supposed to mean something too, like that you feel like you're out of control or something in your life is not fully in control. But that is like I have that one all the time where I'm driving and it's usually I used to have a Ford Ranger when I lived in California. I'm driving that and I'm like pushing the brakes down all the way and I should be parked, but I'm slowly still rolling and I bump into the car in front of me. Like it's never a bad accident type thing. It's just a little bit of, yeah. Art by MP, come back. You just jumped. Said, what are you using to hold your canvas at the bottom of your easel? My dog hit the send button before I could finish typing. What am I using to hold? It is the easel itself. Like it's the easel. At the bottom of the easel. Wait, what? Am I not reading that right? What are you using to hold your canvas at the bottom of your easel? Yeah, these little tabby things are just part of the easel. Like they hold the easel up, if that's what you mean. They're like little rubbery feet type things. They're just a part of the easel. Sheila said, I totally get it. The side work, what I call it, takes a lot of extra time. The painting is the fun part. Yes. And then I'm too tired. I'm not even looking forward to paint by the time painting time of the day comes because I'm like, ugh. Clark Finer said, people don't hear others talk about their dreams. They won't be quiet mine. I also don't watch TV except when I try to sleep at night. The rhythm will come eventually. Gail said, what's the odds of Matt joining you for a live stream? He's such a likable guy. Not high. Michigan. Oh, thank you. Wow, that I was not even close. Yeah, Michigan. Well, congratulations, Janet. If you're here. Monica said, hi, big sis. Mom is here watching and we're having marble cake and ice cream. Nice, I'm jealous. Paul said, do you decipher the meaning of your dreams too? I've looked it up a couple of times and I'm like, I don't really care. I mean, I guess it makes sense sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, that makes no sense at all, but whatever. Richard said, been listening to the stream but unable to watch until now. Well, Lisa, this is incredible. P.S. Clow is pronounced Clough in the UK. Actually, I know, and thank you. I know spelled the exact same. My Scentsy lady I chose her because her last name is the same as mine, but she pronounces it Clough, where we are Clow. I'm not sure which is correct, but yeah. Okay. I want to get a little bit more of the orange glow. If I could find my dang orange, I guess I could use this orange paint. I think that is the same one anyway. It's just a smaller tube. Oh, that has not been mixed in a very long time. So Liquitex orange is like the mixing, whatever medium inside of it is like super gooey. It is really tricky. This one's really gooey. I'm having to shake it up. I have a new one somewhere, but it's what I can't, that's one of the paints I couldn't find. All right, Raven D said, there's been a dream where a giant sky-high sun-looking fire coming through the way to engulf me and my, at the time, new car wouldn't start. I yelled at it, you're new. Anyway, I was engulfed. Oh my gosh. Hobby Artist said, not sure if you missed this question. For a beginner who's working small, would getting drawing pads for paper or paper in big sheets be the better way to go? I would say for a beginner, like an 8x10 for drawing for most mediums is good, but do studies. So it depends on what you want to do. Like if a beginner, I would say do a close-up of a single rose, not a full bouquet. Do something where you're study a smaller element of the scene instead. Like if you're interested in cheetahs, start by drawing the eye and the fur around, not the full head, or definitely not the full body. So smaller, but a smaller study, I think is a really good way to go. Oh, that actually mixed up nicely. For beginners. But if you want tons of detail, the bigger you go, the easier it is to get that detail. However, for beginners, most of them do not have the patience to put the necessary time into really large in order to get that far. So I would say for beginners, about an 8x10 and a study. Zoom in on something you're interested in. Let's say you're interested in fish. Maybe you don't do the whole fish, do a close-up of the face, like get a macro shot and just focus on the little areas would be my recommendation. Would you be hanging wreath? What? Would you be hanging wreath? What? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Paul. I don't know what that's in relation to. I mean, I have a wreath on my door. Oh, I never did post the photo of it with the lights, though. Need to do that. So just doing this as a glaze, thin down paint. Do you mean painting a wreath? I would have to do it in a very impressionistic style for one of these. I'm not sure what we're doing next week. Just tone that down. I don't like how bright that was. Christmas wreath. I have a wreath on my door, or do you mean painting? Would you be hanging wreath? Huh? Christmas wreath. I mean, I have one. Mostly I have a garland and a Christmas tree. Those are up. I put my Christmas stuff up the day after Halloween, and then I take them down Christmas Day. Because then I'm like, okay, we're on the upswing towards spring. I'm ready for this. Okay. Let's get a little bit more of a glow here. Just glazing some orange. I want to get a little bit of a violet glaze or purpley glaze at the bottom. Hi, Emma. Let's get that to fade up, because we know if I use orange, I am definitely using violet, or magenta. I love those colors together so much. We are almost done. Gail said, let's see, thank you. It's clow rhymes with enough, so clough, not like plow or allow. Yeah, but you guys pronounce some stuff really weird too that doesn't make sense to me, so I don't know. Let's see. We have the blue. Let's get a little bit more of that glaze. Just around the base there. We can even take a little bit of a highlight around the edge to define it more. What did I want to do? Okay. Just a little bit of, I'm using some transparent mixing white and a little bit of blue. The English language is so weird on like rules that make no sense, like things that are just not phonetic and don't. What is the one? Kernel. The spelling for kernel is the most bizarre thing in the world to me. Like, and I read the history of why it's the way it is. No, I'm sorry. It's dumb. That's just dumb. That is definitely not one that makes sense. Yeah, I think kernel's probably, I don't know. Is there another word that's spelled more bizarre that like, what? Google says clow is an old English word. Vicky said, I'll be winning next week's painting. Paint it wrong? Maybe. I've got some good, I have a really good one I just got a glitch that would be so cute as a painting. Although I have a feeling that I would want to keep it for myself, so I don't know. Let's see. Let's get some more shading, a little bit on this the candle part that's spilling down. Oh my gosh, I have like a full coffee. I have not been drinking this. Gypsy Heart said, why is there a K and knuckle? All those extra letters serve no purpose. I have a ton, but it would be here all night spelling them. Why does Jared have 2 R's and a Y? Answer me that one. Nick said, Colonel, the spelling is correct. The pronunciation has devolved. Yeah, I guess. Let's go back to making it make sense to the way it's spelled now. Let's see. Alicia said, Aloysius? Wait, what? Aloysius. Wow, that is not how I would have expected that one. Richard said, English place names are confusing too. It looks, I don't even know how you're supposed to say that. It's pronounced Lesta, Iesta, or Lesta. Is that an L or an I? Iesta? Lesta? Southwell is pronounced Southwell. Really? Paul said, oh, and you might get disappointed, but Dr. Seuss is actually pronounced Dr. Sois. Huh. Gypsy Heart said, because his mom cannot spell this one out. Wait, what? Because his mom is cannot spell this one out. And my child would be in trouble. Oh my gosh. I guess he's not seeing that you just wrote that. Emma says, an art lesson converted into an English lesson. Well, I'm not teaching the English lesson. See, I said English. I can't talk. English lesson. You guys are teaching that. Okay, what was I doing? Let's darken some of this. So I'm using some burnt sienna with a little bit of black, which gives you more of a brown tone. She was, I mean, if she's watching, hi Mom, love you. I'm glad she spelled it the way she did, because I have fun giving him a hard time for it. Plus, he changed his username for that for live streams, which is hilarious. Oops, too much. Also, let's go a little bit, not a dark shadow, because there's inner glow from the candle, but we can darken it a little bit around here. How do you pronounce soiree? Soiree? Apparently I don't. I stumble over it and tripped pretty hard. Art of Raven D said, I question English rules all the time. Like, why do we have a P in psychology or something? Yeah, like, it's so weird. It's yeah. Very, very odd. What else do I want? Thanks, Kathleen. Gypsy said, you know, he giggled about that for 3 whole days. Like, every few hours he would be like, I can't wait. I hope she doesn't get mad. It's hard to make me truly mad. Like, somebody has to be intentionally... Like, I'm not one who gets offended when someone doesn't mean to be offensive. Like, you know how some people, like, you say something and no matter what you say, they're looking to be offended? I'm not one of those. Like, somebody has to be intending offense to like, annoy me. Or they have to just be generally. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Let's see. Gypsy Heart. Okay, got that one. Paul said, oh, and I watched the movie The Witch, and they spoke very odd. Happened in Old England. I don't know that one. I'm apparently behind on movies. Maybe I should like I'd say I'd bring Netflix in here, but most of the stuff that I watch, I'm like, when I've looked for stuff to watch, it's not interesting. I'm like, I'm just going to go back to my books. Books are better. Gail said, I'm from Alabama, not a Bret. How about they say aluminum with an extra L? I am a student of the Welsh language, though. Gypsy Heart said, yep, we both think we are clearly way funnier than we are and never mean anything. We're just cheeky, but always in good fun, like my "we" comment on your video. I started to respond to that, and I stopped. I got busy, and then when I refreshed it, because I couldn't find it, I'm like, I'll go back to it later. Frog legs. No frog. They're not being named frog legs. I have to watch myself though too, because it's like there's times where I'm just trying to be funny because I think I'm hilarious and somebody is offended by that. Well, because they're trying to be offended, but it's, yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not being rude. I'm hilarious. You're misunderstanding. You don't understand what's funny. Do people use the word thou? Still use the word when they're being fancy? I would say sometimes. Like people don't really use the word foe, but I use the word foe. Like, why are you glaring at are you glaring at your foe right now? Like I like that word. So sometimes. Gypsy Heart said, I have to remind my brain regularly that I'm actually not a 12-year-old boy. Right there with you. You can't even see, like this I hate that it's so overexposed. You can't like see half of the candle, which kind of sucks. I need to get a photo of it before I varnish it. The airspace said, it has to be a little offensive to be really funny. No, you're right. And actually, yes, you are absolutely right. And I mean, most jokes are offensive to somebody. That's what makes them like funny. But these days, everyone is looking to be offended. They're looking for like, who's going to offend me next? And so they can't just take the joke as intent. Like it's just they're being funny or whatever. Like people want so badly now. It's the weirdest thing. Like it always reminds me of, I always say it's a childish thing because there was a stage I was probably, I'd say 12, 13, right around there. I was in junior high, whatever age that is. So 7th grade. I remember anytime, whether an adult or another student would say something to me, assuming they were trying to offend me. I expected it all, everything. I mean, I remember there was a boy who complimented me on something. And I said something rude back because I knew he was just making fun of me. I don't know why I would think that. I wasn't normally made fun of. It wasn't like I was a kid who was regularly picked on, so that didn't make sense. Well, by my bio dad who was abusive, so maybe that. But it was a very weird stage that I went through, and I don't think it lasted more than a few months, but I do remember, like, if anyone said something to me, I knew they were trying to offend me. What a weird, childish way to view the world. And like, it's not a pleasant, like, you're not enjoying life when you're looking for that offense. Not everything is offensive. And then you have the problem, too. So these people were not intending to offend me, yet I'm over here with an attitude like they're being offensive. And it's like, you control how you control how you take what someone says to you. Like, that's on you, not necessarily the person who said it, especially if the person who said it had no intent of being rude or being offensive. So yeah, so when I see so many adults these days that are just like offended by everything. And I'm like, I mean, like the guy who was mad that I made fun of said Jim Carrey was crazy. Jim Carrey shows us he's crazy. Like, what? Why are you upset about that? Like, people are it's a very odd thing. We didn't used to be that way either. And I'm not saying like pick on and be super mean to people. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird stage we are in history. Tasha said, my next short quote, I'm not rude, I'm hilarious. I love it. Paul said, is it ethical to nurse dogs to accompany wild animals in the zoo like lions or tigers? Why would it not be? If it works, I know they'll have dogs. Like I see golden retrievers with cheetahs all the time. If they get along and it works well, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Oh, you mean nurse them? Why not? I see no reason why it's not hurting the dog. The dog usually forms an attachment to the animal that's nursing on them. No, I see nothing wrong with that. I think it's freaking awesome if that is something that is being done. Like, I don't see the problem with that. Now, I'm not saying that everything ever done in those situations is always good and ethical, but as a general, as a whole, no, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, like greyhounds, for example, is it unethical to draw blood from a greyhound when another dog needs a transfusion? Because greyhounds have like special magic blood. They're freaking aliens. They're a universal donor. So when you do, greyhounds are used for transfusions. Is that wrong? Like, let's say I took Gibson in to donate blood. Somebody needed it. Is that wrong for me to make him do that? No. Why would that, like, no. But then again, I worked in an animal hospital, so maybe my views are just different on things. I don't know. I think as long as the animal is being treated very well in that. I mean, if you're keeping it in a tiny little cage and you're never letting it walk around, I'm not saying it couldn't be done in a bad way, but it certainly isn't like that would always be a bad thing. If the dog is otherwise treated great and like they don't care, they're going to form an attachment and nurse those babies. So, let's see. Leisha said, I love this painting. The touch of magenta at the top of the flame is unexpected but eye-catching. Thank you. It looks better in person. It's kind of like it's washing it out in a really weird, like it's only showing a dot and it's more of a, the joys of that. Gypsy Heart, come back, said, Jared found quickly, you're darned if you you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. Include certain stuff people don't like and you don't include it and they get offended. Either way, you don't win. No, and that's one of the things too. I mean, if you try to make everyone happy, you make no one happy. And I mean, at the end, it's like, I don't want anyone to be unhappy, but I can't please everybody. If I speak, I'm upset. I had a woman who, this was years and years and years ago, in our art group. There was a situation where, God, this has been so long ago. Let's see if I get most of this information right. Actually, hold on. Let me sign this before I get too far. But there was a woman. So we had a guy. Let's back this up. We had a guy, and English was not his first language. But he understood enough that he understood the rules that we did not post nudes in our art group. It's a group that allows children, and it's not my job to explain that to a child. And sometimes people take nudes too far from being just a nude into turning into something that is more adult natured. We don't touch it. It's just not appropriate for the group. So I'm just going to sign this in my lap. So we had a guy who continuously was posting nudes, whether it would be something he drew or it got worse to the point, and we had warned him multiple times, this is not for the group. It's not allowed in the group. I mean, he had done a few things where, was it plagiarism on top of that? Like he was doing some weird stuff. And then the final straw, and again, we had warned him so many times, but a few people, it's not 2012. What the heck, Lisa? A few of the people kind of, including this one girl, kind of took it on like they were going to guide him. Like they felt like they were, I don't know, like his champions, or I don't know what the deal was. So the guy ends up, and we had warned him so many times, we do not do nudes in this group. He finally did a collage from a porn magazine. So he would take magazines, cut them out, and we didn't allow that anyway, so we had already told him to stop doing this. He took these photos of girls he took these adult lady photos. Adult. There were things happening. And made a collage and posted that to the group. So these weren't even pieces of art. This was cut out from a magazine, and then he'd take a marker and outline it. We kicked him. I'm like, that's it. You're done. I'm done with this. And that was one of the things that led us to, one of many things that were like, we now pre-approved post in the Facebook group. But we removed him from the group. We gave him every chance. I talked to him personally. Other moderators talked to him personally. We couldn't get him to stop doing this. And we're like, that's it. You can't. You're just done. I don't think you could do the pre-approved post at the time. I don't remember. So anyway, when we removed him, this girl went off on me. And she's trying to justify, well, he doesn't understand English. I'm like, yes, he does. He understands enough to know we told him to stop doing this. And he responded to me, and in a way, he understood. He was signifying, and even if he doesn't, let's give you the benefit of the doubt. He speaks no English, which was not the case. And he completely doesn't understand. It doesn't matter. I don't want that. Those photos from that magazine are not going to be exposed to people's kids. Like, no. So when I tried explaining to her, we're not doing this. She wrote a freaking novel. She would have made Misspelled Jared Proud. A freaking novel telling me off on how I'm not the person she thought I was and how horrible of a human I was. Then she went to every social media platform she could find me on. She'd go to and I was just one by one having to block her. She'd go to YouTube and start bashing me. And basically what happened, it was the oddest thing. This happens a lot, actually. She decided I was just like her. I viewed, and it's a very odd thing that happens sometimes where people think that you view everything like they do. And when they then find out, like that is not the case, that I have my own opinions and some of them may not be the same as yours. They flip. Some people, like this was a case, and I've had it happen a couple of times. She flipped out on me, and that's why she was going around on how I let her down and how much I hurt her. And it was so weird because this didn't even have to do with her. It was, I just didn't want actual adult magazines, like photos from, like not even artwork drawn from it. It was cut out, glued to a piece of paper and outlined in a marker. It was, so sometimes you can try to make people happy all you want, but you'll have people like that who in her head, she'd turned me into somebody I wasn't. And when she found out I wasn't the exact, like I didn't feel exactly the same as her on every element, she flipped out. It is a very odd thing when you're trying to like get along with everybody, but some people just, no matter what you do, as soon as you have one difference of opinion, one thing you don't view the same, they get, like, I mean, the level of rude from this, oh, I almost called her a name that is not, yes. It was crazy. It was, well, that works for this case, obviously, but yeah, it was bizarre. As soon as people, you can try all you want to be nice to people, but one thing on some people that they don't agree, and they're just like, now you are Satan reincarnate. Satan reincarnate? Wait, that wouldn't work. You are someone really bad reincarnated. I don't know. Let's see. Do you have a sketchbook with your prep work or practice that you keep? I'd be very interested in seeing a sketch tour. I don't. My sketchbooks are essentially like, here's where I was testing colors. Do I have much in here? I don't even have like, I don't even know. I guess I was doing math on this page, which is, I don't even know if that's math. I don't know what these numbers, 22 by 28, 19. I don't know what I was doing there. Oh, I have a drawing. I can show you. What was I using? I was screwing around with something, but I drew some whales. So I guess I do have occasionally. But I was recently thinking, and I don't know how I would do this. Maybe it would just be a way to do one of the meat. Maybe charcoal. Maybe I could do. Did I knock over? I hope it wasn't important. That sounded like a bottle. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I want to see if I can get something like Hansen Inktense. Do they have a I want a spiral notepad that I can do a whole bunch of charcoal drawings or a whole bunch of, I don't know, maybe beginner colored pencil stuff that would just be kept in this like sketchbook. I don't know. It was an idea I had this week. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but yeah, I don't have time for sketchbooks though normally because I'm so busy doing my Patreon lessons. Like there are things that I would enjoy doing. There's just no time if I want to get a lesson every week. Like I kind of overdo the how many lessons I make available on Patreon. Like I really want, and I want quality, like I want them to be good. So it's, yes, there's no time. Art of Raven D said, I do adult art, but I know better not to post them in your group. You guys can see my wildlife and pet portraits instead. Because you can read rules. That is why. You are awesome. Gypsy Heart said, Miss Jared said he does not approve of novel-length rants of ignorance. D-Link Creative Art said, great video on the Inktense blocks. Thank you. I want to do more like, I'm definitely going to do some more like top 10, top 5 things, more tips. I've got some stuff planned, so I'm excited for that. So anyway, we are at 10:03. I still need to go record Matt's part for tomorrow's video, so we're going to go do that. And thank you guys for joining. Check out our moderators. Links are in the video description. If you're not already following me on MeWe, I mean, I hope you joined MeWe so you can enter the giveaway. We'll have another one next week, so if you didn't win this one, you know, we got more. I've got to contact Fredericks, though, because I'm running low on these canvases. This one will get sent out. When does this get sent out? I don't know. It takes me forever to get these sent out. I've got to varnish it still. I've still got a stack of months worth behind me that need to be sent out. So that will be happening. Let's see. Like I said, oh, Gypsy Heart said I sent you the link on MeWe for the perfect tone sketchbook for charcoal. Oh my excitement level, I got goosebumps. See, this is where I know there's something wrong with me. I get goosebumps over weird things. The idea of a perfect charcoal sketchbook just gave me goosebumps. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's video. And I have that free gift that is coming for you guys tomorrow. So I can't wait to share it with you because it's such, like, you're going to love this app. It is so cool. So cool. Anyway, that's it. Check out our moderators channels. Links are in the video description, and I will see you guys on MeWe in the meantime. Bye.